Hello everybody and welcome to the Real Housewives Edits. My name is Elle and I am here to talk about the two loves of my life, editing and housewives. Well, you guys, we are back in Potomac. As always, you guys know I love this city. This is so much fun. Quick disclaimer, if you want to skip this intro and just go straight to the analysis, I put the timestamp in the description below, so please go ahead and skip forward. And for the rest of us, hello, how are you guys? It feels like I've been putting out less videos lately just because I haven't been covering Salt Lake, just because I haven't been that inspired by Salt Lake, and now we're into the reunions, and I watched the reunion, the first part last night, and I don't know, I just feel like they're really trying to make something of it, and I'm very surprised that they have 3 parts. I actually found the reunion to be more exciting than I thought it was going to be. Like, I was more invested. I really thought they were just gonna go down the like black eye gate or whatever, but I kind of liked how they broke the fourth wall, like talking about the friends and how like that one friend has been trying to get on the show for 3 years, and just like there was the little stuff in there that I was like, my interest was a little piqued. But I'm not going to fully cover a Salt Lake City reunion just because, again, I don't feel like there was like a lot of things that I wanted to talk to you guys about, but I do want to talk about a couple things that I think were actually really interesting. In true Salt Lake City form, you know, the ladies look gorgeous, they're absolutely beautiful. But the last time I was watching one of the Salt Lake City episodes before the reunion, I was really noticing that their LUT, a look-up table, which is really just a saved set of color corrections. So the equivalent is just like a filter, right? So the whites are a certain balance, you know, if you use a LUT and you apply it to the entire show, it gives it a certain look in every scene. There's something about Salt Lake City, they have a LUT on there that makes it look really beautiful. It actually, to me, really goes with sort of the feel of the city. The LUT is a little bit soft. You can actually see it really, really clearly here in the reunion, and it was almost distracting for me while I was watching it. Maybe because I really just like pointed it out in my head that I wanted to talk to you guys about it, and then all of a sudden I was seeing it in the reunion, so crazy. But you can see like the contrast is really deep, meaning that the dark, in the dark places and the shadows, it's really, really like rich and dark, you know, blacks and dark colors. And then it lightens up wherever it's light, right? So everything's very contrasty, has a little bit of a softness to it. It's almost like the equivalent of like, you know, putting Vaseline over the lens. It's so, so subtle, but I felt like you could really see it at this reunion. If I was to take the LUT off of my footage right now, you guys can see, I'll show you right now. So this is my footage right here without the LUT that I use, right? My eyes look less blue. Everything just looks way more gray. With the LUT, you know, my skin looks a little bit more tan. Everything's a little bit more vibrant. But to be honest, LUTs should just really just make the film or the video look more like real life. I don't really have like gray skin and gray hair, but if you see it without any color correction, that's kind of what it looks like coming straight out of a camera. No one ever uses video that comes straight out of a camera. They always treat it, they always color correct it before it goes to our TVs. And, you know, they use these lookup tables just sort of to give something an entire look, so they're not color correcting each individual clip, if that makes sense. But anyway, I just wanted to point out the Salt Lake City one was almost distracting to me. The thing about LUTs and the thing about filters and anything like that is they don't age well. So in, you know, some of the stuff you'll look back, and when we were doing filters, like, I don't know, straight out of Instagram, when Instagram first came out, if you ever look at those filters, you kind of look at them and you're like, oh, these don't feel classic. They feel like very of the time, right? I worry a little bit about the Salt Lake City Housewives footage, you know, aging quicker than normal, just because it's got a very, I don't know, I'd say like very topical, very of the times kind of pretty LUT on it. The second thing I wanted to point out is the Salt Lake City editors continuing to do these very loud sound effects, like this moment right here. I understand what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to use these sound effects to really emphasize a dramatic point, but I do think the poor editors in Salt Lake City, because they don't have a ton to work with, they have to kind of make moments that maybe aren't as big feel bigger with the sound effects, and what happens to the audience is we watch it and we kind of go, huh? It didn't require that big of a sound effect. It just wasn't dramatic enough. Now, there are definitely moments we've had, over the time with our housewives that have been dramatic enough to have that type of sound effect, but not that moment right there. Third thing I want to point out with the Salt Lake City reunions is the amount of space and pauses that the editors are allowing for dramatic effect with no music, no sound underneath. Every time they do this, like in this example right here.
Did you reach out to her to see if she was okay?
No.
There's a long pause kind of drawn out. We don't know. She could have answered it right away on set and they just gave it that pause for dramatic effect and to make it feel a little bit more like, what's going on there? Something's going on underneath the surface. So we just don't know. But I really noticed there were a lot of pauses put in there, and I couldn't believe that those were actually happening on set, especially because these women, the reunions are newer to them. They're only 3 seasons in. So they're going to be nervous. They're going to be jumping on questions. They're going to be kind of talking over each other a little bit more, taking less space. Some of the ladies who've been doing this for a long time, like the Beverly Hills women, they can really allow space to happen, right? Allow a question to come, take a moment to think about the answer and respond. But some of these newer casts, which kind of makes it fun to watch, is they're a little bit more like preemptive and a little bit more like, oh, I got to get this out real quick or else it's never going to be said, So I really think that those spaces were put in by the editors. But what do you guys think? I would love to hear your takes on the reunion. So that was just my little brief overview of the Salt Lake City reunions. So let's move on to Potomac. Guys, last week's Potomac was like an editor's paradise. Like, the editors, in a word, snapped. They absolutely took every chance that they could to make it funnier, more poignant, more dramatic, more fun for the audience. And they're really just, they're really taking a lot of liberties, and I don't know what you guys think. I really love it. I think there is a line that can be crossed with all sort of like the kind of fun that can be had. It can start to feel a little bit like, I don't know, more of like a show rather than like we're kind of like fly on the wall of some stuff that's going down. But I have to say, in this Potomac episode, I absolutely loved it. I love the Potomac editors. I think they're so funny. And I just wanted to do a supercut today. Haven't done a supercut for you guys in a while, but I'm going to actually just go through the entire episode. Not the entire episode, but moments in the entire episode that I really, really enjoyed from an editing perspective, and just kind of jump right into it. So let's go. Okay, so I just wanted to point out this moment because I don't know if you guys were watching White Lotus. I think there's a lot of White Lotus Housewives crossover, so I feel comfortable kind of talking to you guys like you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. So us, like it's so us. The editors were doing such an homage to White Lotus here. They have the tribal drums in the background, all of the shots of the actual resort, and then really closing in on the resort name or the restaurant that they're at. It was just like what they were doing on the White Lotus. It made me miss White Lotus. I really don't think that the editors are copying the show. I really think it's more like almost like a nod to it, because they know how much of the crossover is between Housewives fans and White Lotus. So I just wanted to call out that moment right there. So the next moment I want to talk about were some of these post-production sound effects that the editors put in of Giselle's stomach when she says she's not feeling well. Let's just watch.
Yes. Hi. Over here. Can I do a mimosa?
Mimosa and
Bottled water would be great. And you don't have any like sodas like in a bottle or a can?
soda. What you got? What you got?
Mexico is not really agreeing with me.
Okay, so what they did there was they put in these sound effects in post-production, meaning these were not happening on set. I guarantee you, they don't have a mic that's strong enough to pick up Giselle's stomach going crazy like that, especially because the timing was just too rich. The timing was every time she stopped talking or every time she was thinking about something like, oh, what can I order? Or taking a pause, you would hear it.
Bottled water would be great.
If it was actually picking it up on set, obviously the stomach wouldn't be that good at, waiting for her to stop talking. I just thought it was so funny, such an shady editor moment to throw those in there because it's really just silly. They didn't need to do that to kind of make the point that Giselle's stomach's hurting, but they wanted to do it just to be silly. I don't know why I picture these editors like putting this stuff in and sitting in a room and laughing so hard. Like, I'm sure there's several of them and they all have different rooms, editing bays, and they'll be like, hey, like, come on, come in here and look at this scene that I just did. What do you guys think? And then just laughing. I can just totally picture that. Strangely enough, editing rooms they're quiet because you have people like working and, doing a lot of like technical stuff, but editors in general are pretty funny. They're very observant of behavior. They're very observant of details, which is maybe why I love it so much, my Virgo heart. They're studying people all day long in between takes, and they're really trying to make a story happen. So they have to be very observant. They can't just be like, people think editing is just technical. I've met editors who like have zero technical skills whatsoever, but they're just still amazing editors. So there's ways around it. So I just really wanted to cover that moment and let you guys know those were not happening on set. I don't think you guys thought so, but I just wanted to mention it. The next moment I want to talk about was this moment where the camera really hung on Mia for a long time. I really don't know why they did it, but I was actually really wanted to hear what you guys think. I really love your comments and I love your input. You guys have literally the best input and you make me laugh so hard in the comments. So I would just love to hear your take on why you think that they hung the camera on Mia for so long in this moment. Let's watch.
I'm gonna try to be a trooper and get through it.
Girl, what is going on in the Ville?
The people's is crazy out here in these streets, Mia. I didn't like how Karen made up all these lies about Sheree.
So my take on it is they were probably manipulating some of Giselle's dialogue to make it go straight into this story where they're getting right to the meat of things. But I also don't know, are they kind of showing like some context with Mia, some subtext rather, where she's thinking about, like as Giselle's saying, there's all this stuff going on in the streets. Maybe they're showing Mia for a long time, kind of like she's thinking about her friend Jacqueline. What do you guys think the reason is? But I do believe that they hung on her for a long time in that moment compared to other, any other two-person scene. They would typically cut to the other person pretty quick or cut to the two shot of them, but they really gave Mia a long close-up there, and I was curious what you guys thought. The next moment I wanted to cover was this little tiny moment where Giselle and Mia are still talking and they talk about, being kind of like, you can be jealous when you're 59. And then Giselle just jumps to something. And I want to hear you guys' opinion on this one too.
Dang.
Do you think, is there jealousy of some sort?
Yes, I feel that.
At 59 and 59 and fine?
Listen, people can be jealous at 72.
Really?
Well, I don't know, because, let's be clear, Wendy's jealous of you. I
just thought that moment was so weird to jump from like, you can be jealous at, an advanced age to like,
let's be clear, Wendy's jealous of you.
This is just Giselle being shady, or it's the editors making kind of a weird cut to push forward to, again, more of the meat of the storyline in the conversation. There was also this moment right here that was a little bit later in the episode that was also so White Lotus. So you have this sort of like tropical, almost luau sounding music. The cello sound is getting kind of lower and a little bit more ominous. They're showing like the beach with like a palm frond in the foreground. It's just all kind of very, it's unbelievably White Lotus to me. Tropical, but tribal and a little bit like suspenseful, something under the surface, loud kind of drums, the cello, the violins. It's just, it was uncanny. Okay, this next moment was a very well talked about moment on Instagram, which was the Grande and Dame basically doing sort of like making fun of Law and Order, like the Grande Dame is like, got her own special victims unit or whatever. And let's just watch it.
Much I know about Robyn Dixon, and she knows I know, including Juan's other woman. Yeah.
So the first thing I want to point out is they do that big hard hit after she says woman, right? We get a reaction of Ashley, and then this sort of Law and Order title card comes up saying Grand and Dame, Special Potomac Unit. And then they kind of, what they use is sort of like a dupe of the music. If you guys have heard the Law and Order music, it's like that a little bit, but obviously they can't use the same music because they can't pay for the copyrights. They'll get a copyright strike or whatever, like I get on YouTube every single day. So they kind of put this music in there, right? They cut back to Ashley, and then now we're gonna get like this part just had me rolling. I don't know about you guys.
Hello. But beautiful, natural, matured. She lives in Montgomery County, and they always date in Georgetown. And that's just a tip of the iceberg.
Like a oh my gosh, when they do that sketch, what are you guys doing? And then the chyron in the corner where it says, you know, Karen's special PD unit, and then it says friend in quotation marks. All of it just had me laughing so much. The reactions of Ashley, the music going on. What it is about this that made me laugh, beyond just the fact that they're putting up, you know, Karen's Special Potomac Unit and doing the kind of parody of Law and Order, all of that is funny. But more than anything, you guys, they're trolling Karen, and you guys know this. They're making fun of Karen. We are laughing as an audience watching this because Karen is doing exactly what we want our housewives to do, and that is just being totally delusional. She's saying that Juan has a woman that looks just like her, and that he's in love with this woman that looks just like her. And it's just like, it's hilarious. It's so perfect for a housewife. This is where Karen, for me, is a great housewife. I think she falls under the category of she thinks, I've told you guys this before, she thinks she's smarter than the audience sometimes, and she also thinks that we like her for a certain reason. I think she thinks we like her because she's the grande dame, because she has funny little asides, because she's, you know, she does silly things, or, you know, is shady sometimes, is the mama bear the next. I think she thinks that that's why we love her. But to me, the reason why I love Karen are these moments much more than anything. The moments where she actually truly believes what she's saying, and that it is so absurd when she's not putting it on. Like this, to me, I don't think she's putting it on. Tell me in the comments if you think I'm wrong. But there are moments where she literally just like totally thinks she's like in the right and totally thinks she's being the smartest one. And it's, it's delusional. And that's why I love Karen, because she continues to be delusional and thinks that the reason we love her as a housewife are for so many different reasons. Not that we don't love her as a housewife for those reasons, but I just don't think it's like our main reasons, or at least not my main reasons, so.
Girlfriend? Yeah, that looks like me.
Love is a trick of the night.
Okay. I don't know if that song is like from Law and Order. I don't know. But the fact that they put the sketch plus a picture of Karen next to each other and then had this loud vocal come in.
Love is a trick of the night.
I literally had little tears, crying, laughing, thinking about the editors doing this. Not even just like, oh, this is a funny thing, but just them sitting in the room. I was like, they've snapped. They snapped, and I love it. And, you know, continue to do what you're doing. Just don't go over the edge where the, you know, sort of production tactics and editing stuff kind of takes away from the actual show. Please, guys, don't do that. But I don't see that coming. I think you guys are just doing the right balance. I don't know what you guys think. But it just had me cracking up. That vocal and then the Karen, you know, sketch right next to her face just had me dying.
Looks like you have blonde hair.
She's blonde.
Okay, so I'm sorry I'm just hanging on this scene so much, but I just want to continue because there was this moment right here where Ashley says,
blonde hair.
We had this moment in the trailer, and I remember watching it in the trailer over and over and over, and this is so weird. You guys are going to be like, why? But I watched it over and over because I really felt like Ashley's look after she said it, so brief, but after she said blonde hair, I looked at her and her lip kind of quivered, and I really thought when I was watching the trailer and saw this moment that she was emotional. not for the reason of the blonde hair or anything like that, but I thought maybe they'd been talking about something before, or maybe she had something super serious on her mind. I had no idea, but all I know is that I really felt in that moment like, I can't wait to see this scene and see if she's actually like, something's going on with her, because there's this little bit to her. However, now that I watched the scene, I realized that as she's saying that blonde hair, that little tiny lip quiver that I saw that I just could not stop looking at was her trying to hold in laughter. I think that's what was happening. She knew that Karen was being Karen and being just a little bit delusional about this situation. Ashley also knew this was gonna make it to screen, and I bet she knew how funny it was going to be once it kind of played itself out. And so it's kind of like that thing when you're playing like a joke on someone and you're sort of laughing, but you're trying to be serious in the joke or whatever. I really saw that in her facial expression here. That has nothing to do with editing. I just wanted to know what you guys thought. Do you guys think she was feeling that way? It just made me laugh, and I just had to point it out to you guys.
Why can't you just say Juan's been spotted with a blonde woman?
Okay, so then they see her, she's laughing in her confessional and she's smiling while she's sitting there. So clearly she did think it was funny, and she clearly thought it was delusional, just like we thought it was delusional. It just made me laugh that she showed her hand there a little bit, and yeah, so anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that scene. Okay, the next piece that I wanted to point out to you guys was this moment at the bar where you had two groups of ladies. One of the groups of ladies were more of the friends of, and one was more of the main castmates. And the only reason I wanted to point this out to you guys is because you can notice a very distinct difference in the audio. Let's just watch.
Nice, because it's like, I just feel so hurt and sad.
I mean, it's bad, but
Between me and you, I don't know if we can get past it.
I am sweating like a motherfucker, and my makeup is like falling off my face.
Okay, so you can hear that their mics are being picked up. Charisse and Jacqueline are sitting at the bar talking. You can hear that they're being picked up somewhere. I don't know if there's like a cast member close by, or I don't know if maybe they are mic'd, but their mics aren't turned on and they just have the boom mic. The boom mic is sort of over the whole scene. It's someone who holds this long stick with like a big microphone on the end of it, and it gets like room tone. It gets sort of all of the voices as a backup. And so I don't know if they're on boom. I'm not sure what it is, but you can tell the audio is very different than when we actually cut to the main cast members, like right here.
And my makeup is like falling off my face.
Yeah.
Karen and I just had a very
Spare at the top.
I'll say
So you can tell, you can see it there that the audio is very different. It's very clear, it's crisp, it's coming out from the background. It's easy for us to hear. They don't need to like, I don't know if they put subtitles, but they don't really need to put subtitles there, just like they did with when it was Jacqueline and Charisse, because it's very easy for us to hear, and that's because they are clearly mic'd. The next moment I want to talk about is really just kind of a music stop, a dramatic music stop that I kind of jumped out at me.
who looks like Karen.
Okay.
He's been dating for years. In that.
So what they did there was they brought in this sort of music track, after she says the thing about Juan, and then the music stops, and then we get our reaction from Robyn.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I hate to say this, but the look on Robyn's face to me kind of gave away that she does know about this situation. I don't know what you guys think. I am not like commenting on, maybe she just knows about the rumor, but I felt like I don't know what it was. There was just something in that moment there where I just looked at her face and I was like, she knows about this, either this rumor or this is actual truth. I don't know what you guys think. I'd love to hear your opinions, but to be honest, this moment broke my heart. I don't know about you guys, but I've been in situations before where I've been, I guess blinded by love and not knowing, if something, hers is, it's much more than blinded by love. She's got kids with him and all this stuff, and he's been in, he's had fidelity issues before, and that's such a euphemism. He's cheated on her before, and so I just find Robyn to be like extremely insecure and have really low expectations, I think, of her relationship, and very like just low self-worth in a weird way. And wow, that moment there just made me, I don't know, it just broke my heart. And there's a little bit more in this scene that kind of lends itself a little bit more to that.
Okay, I've never heard about that. First of all. Second of all, has she seen this with her eyes?
She said no, but that a lot of people.
Okay, well, the cut to the artist rendering just had me dying again. And then the next moment in this scene that kind of just, I thought was kind of an editor's nod to make us feel some type of way, was this reaction from Ashley right here.
Right.
No, but you know, like, I can't.
She shouldn't have opened that can of worms. She really shouldn't have. I mean, it's clear Karen is in her feelings, you know, it's so fun.
There was that moment right there where she's sort of laughing, and then Ashley, the editors cut to Ashley, and they cut to her a couple times in this moment where they're kind of showing Ashley looking concerned as Robyn is laughing, that sort of silly laugh. If you knew your friends, and you knew her husband, and you knew like, this is absolutely not happening, like not even a question, you'd probably laugh with your friend and be like, yeah, wasn't that crazy? But I feel like the editors cutting to Ashley giving that look of concern was definitely a nod to the audience, like we should not be so sure that this isn't true. And that's just my take, but I would love to hear what you guys think. Okay, so the next moment I wanted to cover is when they put this random map in while Candace was talking, and it just made me laugh so much. Let's watch.
That's what the blogs were saying. But I have questions, okay? Because Georgetown is down the street. Why would you go walking in Georgetown? You can walk with a hoe in Spain.
People come to me all the time because...
Okay, so not only did they put this graphic in where you can actually see like where Potomac is relative to Georgetown, which actually is kind of helpful, but also at the same time not helpful at all. That map was just being kind of silly, and the editors were just having some fun with it. But I loved how when they pulled out of that map graphic, then there was this big like cymbal sound, sort of as emphasis and sort of to make like, I don't know, just a point and make it funny at the end of Candace's already funny line. I absolutely love that moment. The next moment I wanted to cover is when Robyn was handing around the phone and showing people Blue Eyes and showing that Karen was with Blue Eyes. And it was just so funny, the music that they chose. Let's watch.
Y'all wanna see the picture? That look like somebody you know, right?
This is the funny thing.
Yeah.
Let me see.
No, you good. That look like somebody you know, right?
Yeah, that looks like, let me see.
Yeah,
May I see?
and this man potentially has blue eyes, right?
May I see?
No, but
this
you may
was
not.
in Vegas.
You may not.
This was
that looks like somebody you know, right?
Accused, I want to make sure it's good eye candy.
Yeah, that looks like...
Okay, so it was just funny. She's passing around the phone, she's leaving Karen out of it, and then the music there is sort of like, I don't know what that music is. I just think of it as like kind of circus music. It's basically like making a sideshow of this thing with Karen and Blue Eyes, right? So making a sideshow of it, not allowing Karen to be part of it. It's kind of funny, but just the fact that the editors put that in there while they're kind of cutting between Robyn showing it to people saying, oh, doesn't this look like her being, you know, shady and facetious, and Karen trying to ask to see it and they're saying no to her, and they put this music in there. I just thought it was a very funny and very Potomac editor's choice. We need to get to know these editors. Like, I feel like the Potomac ones would be such a good time. Someone mentioned in the comment below that I should reach out to some of the editors to talk to them, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I try to go there? I feel like almost like we're in our own little bubble here on YouTube, and I don't want to like prick the bubble. What do you guys think? Let me know what you think. The next moment that I wanted to cover, it's leading into a moment where, again, the editors just started to go crazy and have so much fun with their little editing tricks and their little, you know, cutaways. Oh my gosh, it was really making me laugh. But this moment right here was really interesting because, you know, Karen had said that basically Juan was like hitting on her and that Juan is attracted to her. Editors could have kind of made this moment go any way. They could have really put us in Karen's camp where, you know, Karen's talking to people and they kind of show like reactions of people being concerned. Like, the editors could have done whatever in this moment, but what they really did was kind of pile on to Karen, and let's just watch.
That's why you don't like me. Can you tell them why you don't like me? Because your man does. How about that?
The delusion continues.
Waitress,
Delusional. I don't do well with that. Check, please.
So not only did they pick more clown music for this moment, but they cut to literally every lady laughing, you know, and they keep coming back to Karen, and she's saying more like, you know, you just don't want to know. Like, Karen's in a totally different planet than the rest of the ladies, and it just made me laugh because they really, really illuminated that by just cutting to all the ladies laughing, having this sort of clown circus music underneath, and then every time they cut to Karen, she's like, that's right, like, you don't like it because your man likes me. And it was just too shady and too funny. And to be honest, this is where the editors started to really go off the rails for me in the very best way. Let's just keep watching.
Check, please.
So Juan wants you, Karen. Is that what you're trying to say?
That's ridiculous. He did touch me. He did make me feel inappropriate.
He touched you.
And I never.
Oh, okay.
He touched me, honey. Ask me to be number 3 in your relationship.
Okay. You can't.
Let us be very real.
I mean, I can't confirm or deny that, but.
Okay, so there was that moment right there where Karen said, you know, Karen's honestly still being pretty delusional, saying, you know, he really did. He wanted me to be number 3 in the relationship, blah, blah, blah. But then when she says that, they cut to Ashley and they cut to Jacqueline, and sort of this ominous music comes in.
You can't.
Let us be very real.
I mean, I can't confirm.
It's such a weird dichotomy, this moment in the scene, because we all as audience members have already laughed, like all of the ladies, at Karen's idea that she, you know, is what Juan is looking for. I think we can all kind of agree that maybe Karen is thinking a little bit maybe too much about that, overthinking that moment. She could be wrong. Whatever she feels is totally fine. You know what I mean? If she didn't like the way he hugged her, I've been in situations where someone who's clearly not like trying to come on to me or whatever is inappropriate, and you're just like, ugh. I think everyone's had situations where they feel like they've, you know, been in a situation that makes them feel uncomfortable for whatever reason. I'm not taking that away from Karen, but I am taking away from the fact that I just don't think Juan is like trying to bring her into his relationship. But the reactions that the editors used right after she says that, they go to Ashley and they go to Jacqueline, and this music gets kind of darker. It feels like they're trying to tell us something there. I do believe there's something that's a little bit going, although I don't want to believe it because I kind of like really root for Juan and Robyn. I think there's something going on underneath the surface there with, you know, this Juan rumors. I feel like there's just too much there. There's something that's going to come out about that. Mark my words, because I think the editors know more than we do, and they keep kind of alluding to it.
Confirm or deny that, but whatever.
I believe Robyn is mad with me because she knows that Juan was attracted to me. I'm a beautiful woman. Karen did.
Okay. So they did this really weird punch in there where she says, you know, Juan's attracted to me, and then I'm a beautiful woman. They punched in really close on her face. I don't know what they're trying to do there. Usually what they would do in that type of situation is they would stop the music, a little sound effect, a little punch in, no music. It kind of gives a comedic effect. What was interesting about this moment in particular is the music was still going. They punched in on her with like no sound effect, no change in music or anything.
Juan was attracted to me. I'm a beautiful woman.
I don't know if they're trying to troll her looks. She is a beautiful woman. I don't think they should be trolling her looks or anything, but just a close up in on her, I think was sort of a nod to us. I personally just think that Juan, if he was saying any of that, was probably joking. You know how you address people where you literally have zero, they have like their total friend zone, maybe that's the right way to put it. Like, you wouldn't even think that they would even think anything about it. Like, you can be like, oh my gosh, you look so handsome today. Or you wouldn't say to someone, say, who's like would be a possibility for you. I don't know if I'm even making sense, but I don't know why the editors punched in on her for any other reason than to just troll her. What do you guys think?
They tell me that one of the husbands hugged her inappropriately, and it took her a very long time to get past it.
I had the same experience with another husband in this group. He pulls me into him and he squeezed me so tight my breast went back to my backbone. I kid you not. That's uncomfortable. That's touching.
So I just assumed it was like Michael Darby. But Juan...
Oh my gosh. This is where the editors got me. When she said the Michael Darby and then they just cut to our favorite clip of Michael Darby. I said these editors are my best friends. Like that, to me, like if they could cut to that clip every single time someone even says the word Michael Darby, it's almost like in Harry Potter or whatever, how they like can't say, I forget all the names, but you guys know what I mean. Or like, you know, in Lion King, Mufasa, how he's like, you can't even say Mufasa. Oh my gosh, same sort of thing. If every single time they said Michael Darby, they cut to that clip, it would just make my life. Like, please do that. Editors, you guys are the best. There's one more moment coming up here that I just have to point out.
But Juan, how are you, babe? Good to see you.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. I mean...
Okay, so not only did they do this arrow graphic with showing safe distance, you know, from breast to backbone, but they put this sort of like rattle in there as well. Just to really like prolong the moment and really make sure that we saw it. It's just so funny that they took the time to actually make those graphics. You know, you can get those arrows, like you can have an actual like, you know, special effects or a designer like design arrows and design, you know, text and stuff. But I don't think the housewives, I don't think they go that far. I think they just buy little plugins basically to show, you know, the arrows and stuff. Those are all just plugins, like any arrows or things that you see on my channel here. I haven't created those elements like in After Effects. I've purchase those as elements to use in my edit, but I just love the fact that they're like purchasing elements or going to their, you know, their vault of elements to do these like totally random, hilarious editing cutaways. It's just, and graphics, making me laugh so much. There's one more coming up here.
Her ego, I said before, was like on 25 million. You've just blown it out the water. Woo!
Oh my gosh. The mermaid Karen with the ocean in the background, with the really cheesy, you know, the ocean in the background. She's wearing her dress, which actually does kind of look like a mermaid dress. And then the tail, it just had me like, you guys have snapped. You have snapped. That's fine. I've snapped. I look back at some of my old episodes on this channel where I was just really trying to make you guys like me, and I was cutting to a lot of different things and trying to make it funny for you guys and fun, which I still wish I had the time to do more of that. But I look back at my edits sometimes and I'm like, oh, like I snapped. I love kind of doing a little bit more with my edits and making it more fun for you guys to watch. That's definitely what the editors are doing here. They're trying to make it more fun for you guys, but there is a certain element of like, you've snapped, and I've done it before and they have definitely done it here. Now, this final piece that I'm going to point out actually has nothing to do with editing, but just something I wanted to bring up to you guys. It's this moment here where Wendy and Mia talk. Let's watch it.
Hey, guys, before we go, speaking of being sisters, full transparency, I want to like you. Oh. I really do. I have a soft spot in my heart for you because you're beautiful. This is gonna make me cry. Don't cry. Because you're beautiful, you're successful, you have an amazing husband, you do have 3 beautiful children.
Okay. So, besides all the funny sort of reaction shots that we got in that moment where everyone's like, ugh, Mia, you're doing the Mia thing. This is such a common trope of housewives. When they have alienated themselves and caused a lot of drama in one of their relationships, particularly if it's a relationship of an ally, right? Jacqueline's always been an ally for Mia. Of course, she came on as her friend. And now Mia has been honestly, like, I love Mia as a housewife, you guys know that, but I think Mia has been so mean to her friend. Her friend is continuing to cry, whether it's dramatic or not. Her friend obviously is having some serious problems. I personally, this is my opinion talking right now, I feel like Mia and Jacqueline had a pact. Like, I feel like they're that close that they had a pact, like, you never tell my business on screen, right? Never tell my business on screen. And they're like, oh my gosh, like they've like, you know, they've just basically sisters. Like they're just so deep in just that ride or die thing. I don't know if you guys have a friend like this. I have a couple people in my life like this where like, you don't even need to really say it. Like, it's just like you are there 100% no matter what, right? And I think when Mia said that thing, close your legs to married men, I think it is true because she keeps saying it. She keeps tripling down. I don't know if Jacqueline's had lots of relationships or maybe that's just been something they've talked about before. I don't know. But I think that really broke something down because the way Jacqueline keeps going at her like, how dare you take it back? Like almost like you just ruined our entire pact, our entire trust, our ride or die thing, everything. And now it's like it's broken down inside of her. And Mia, on the other hand, is like, once she broke that, now she's like, I don't even care about you anymore. And oh my gosh, it's so hard for me to watch this relationship like just unravel on screen. And I just wonder what you guys think. I would love to hear your take. Anyway, all of that aside, Mia's, let this relationship go down in flames. She's not even trying to fix it at the time with Jacqueline, although Jacqueline's raw enough that Mia could fix it. Like, we all know that. If Mia really sat down with Jacqueline and was like, let's just talk, I was dumb, I'm sorry I did that, whatever, they could fix it, right? But Mia is not doing it. However, when Jacqueline leaves, Mia does the common housewives thing and she makes another alliance with someone that she's on the outs with. This is so common. I can't even think of another example, but I just wanted to talk to you guys about it because sometimes we talk about storyline and sort of, plot points and things like that go along with production. And this one right here, this is something that we see all the time. The shifting of alliances, especially when someone has lost one of their deepest alliances where everyone feels like, ooh, like, couldn't she repair that? They find someone new or they find someone they've been on the outs with and really put themselves out there. Like she's really put herself out there by being really vulnerable with Wendy and saying sorry and doing all that. It just made me laugh. Final moment. There was one line that made me laugh and it's from Miss Wendy. Wendy continues to make me laugh. I don't think she even knows that she's doing it, but let's just watch it here.
They love each other. You got fake booty, I got fake booty. Okay. You're beautiful, I'm gorgeous.
Right.
I think that, overall, I think you're a good person.
Wow, Wendy, wow. She said,
you're beautiful, I'm gorgeous.
Right. She could have said, you're beautiful, I'm beautiful. But she one-upped herself a little bit in that moment, and Mia's reaction was absolute gold to me. That reaction right there, if someone was to say, why do you like watching Housewives so much? I could literally just show them that 2-second clip right there. It would make sense to them. It would just have to make sense to them because it's absolutely the funniest thing I've ever seen. It made me laugh so hard and I had to bring it up to you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this supercut. I'm doing my first live next week. Everything's all set up. My first official live. And can you believe that New Jersey is about to be starting? We are going to be doing lives talking about New Jersey. Bring your questions. I really would love your editing questions. And we're just gonna be going through really poignant moments and it's gonna be a blast. So I can't wait to do it. And until next time.
You're beautiful, I'm gorgeous.
Right.